with devils. I'm a rebel. Big city goth, bitch. I got several. Bitch, I fuck with devils.
All right, welcome back to the House of Spades. Today we have got two stories to go over. I have my ladies here. As of right now, it's just us ladies talking because our fearless leader, Jack Spade, in case everyone doesn't know, Jack Spade just became the father of a brand new bouncing baby boy. He is healthy, he is beautiful, and he is awesome. So Jack Spade is extremely busy, extremely tired, and has no time to go over this stuff with us. So we're going to go ahead and just pick up the slack for him. Today I have Noodles with me, and I have Natalia. We're going to be going over two stories. One is Amelia, Think Haunted, and the other one is an interesting story that appears not to necessarily be an ARG, but just seems to be a Twitter story called Samantha Cunningham, and we'll get into that in a minute because it's creepy. Okay, so as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Natalia, and she is going to get you guys caught up on Amelia Think Haunted.
Hey everyone, it's good to be here with these cute ladies right here. Okay, so I've been following Amelia Think Haunted like since the first day. Actually, thank you, Noodles, because she was the one that liked it. And then when I saw that she liked it, I was like, let me see. And I was like, oh, I'm already hooked. It seems that, Amelia is just like, she started off like, she seems to start, telling us that her house is haunted, that weird stuff have been happening, like bangings, whispers, stuff like that. And, that's like, nope. Like a big nope. Honestly, it seems maybe like, like cliche, but whatever, right? It's scary. Everybody loves scary stuff. So I was already like hooked in her house. She's been there for like 5 years with her mother only. Recently, like things started happening for her. So that's weird.
Going back to what you were saying, it started back, it looked like February the 24th is when the first tweet happened. So it's been going on for a little while, and it doesn't seem like anything traumatic happened in her house to lead to this. It's just she was there, she lives there, everything's fine, and then just weird shit starts happening, which is really odd.
I know. She gave us like, like the first like picture, and it's creepy because it's like outside her house, and it's like her window and the light is on, and she's like, that's not supposed to be on. She haven't been all day in her house, so that's weird. But then she asked her mom, and it's like, her mom was like, it was probably me, yeah, like I left it on. Then later on, the first video ever is definitely creepy.
I just wanted to say about like the pictures like that were put up. There was one of a window. It was all black, but the light was on. She was like, "My mum's not home yet. Why is the light on?" Oh, okay, it must have just been me, as she said. But then there was a door as well. Like the door was open when it shouldn't have been open, and the room inside was like pitch black, and it was like, oh, what the frick.
To me, that does not scream ghost. To me, that screams stranger danger. Somebody's in your house.
Yes. Oh, talking about that after she saw that, the first time she saw the light of her room, I do remember that she was coming up. She came to the house, and she tells us like, oh, I'm coming here with a bat, a baseball bat, I suppose. And that is obviously really smart of her. So good thinking.
Yeah, always come prepared. I mean, because you don't know if it's a ghost. Ghost you may swing a bat at, but nothing happens. But if it's like, a person, oh, you taking them out.
Yeah, as I said before, like, she finally showed us like our first video, and it's just extremely scary because that's That's telling us something's really wrong going on.
That video, the first video, she walks up a hallway in a house, which is really dark and like quiet. And as she's walking up, one of the doors opens. Well, it's slightly open, like by itself, and she goes to grab a handle, and it like slams shut on her, and she just loses her breath because it's like, what the frick? It was like one of those. Okay, there's either someone in that room, like you said, stranger danger, or like there is actually a ghost messing with her right now.
I would be freaking out. She handled it a lot better than I would have. I would have freaked out. So.
Oh yeah, I would be running out. Like I'd be like, everybody, let's go out, burn the house, everything.
And so as it goes on, she answers a few questions from just people like Natalia. You actually asked her a question. Did you show her the video? And she didn't. She said at the moment she didn't think about it showing her mom the video, but she did later. And see, there was another question that was asked. Do you think she may be sleepwalking, referring to her mom? And she was like, well, maybe, because she had heard whispering outside of her bedroom door that kind of sounded like her mom. And she said maybe, but she's never sleptwalked before, so she doesn't know if it's her. And so then on the 13th of March, it appears that we got another video. Do you want to explain that one, Nat?
Nat's actually haunted. Like, as we're talking, she's being haunted. You can cut that.
Yeah, you can cut that off. Anyway. So that video, I don't know, it seems that Amelia is on her room and she started like hearing noises. We kind of like see her like, if it was like she was sneaking, I don't know, but we see like she's pointing her camera at another door. The hallway seems, or whatever that place is, seems to be like, dark, but like she's pointing the camera at a room, I suppose, and the light is on. And it's like you can hear noises over there, and it's weird. Then I think like a few minutes later, she posts another video, and it's like we find out is her mother's room, because she's asking, like, mom, like, are you alright or something, and then she focused her camera on this like really big room and like a really big bed, but it's empty, and it's like, okay. No way. So Amelia is like, okay, where's my mom? Like, so the video cut off as she's like getting out of the room. For everybody here is like, okay, that's weird. You hearing noises in that room, but your mom is not there. Like, nope.
And then like later on it goes into, she spoke to her mom, and she's like, her mom was like at work, and she told her mom about it, and her mom's just like, man, it's nothing. It's no big deal. It's just, just noises. It's nothing. So that's got to be incredibly frustrating for Amelia, because at this point she's like, nah, something's happening. I got it on video. What the crap? And the mom's like, it's fine. It's fine. So it carries on.
Yeah, I would be like so frustrated too. Like it's not cool.
It kind of carries on from there. Just weird instances happening, sounds of taps on the wall. She discusses for a moment, our neighbor, Miss Brown, has been living next door to our house for many years. If I remember correctly, I think she's been living there for 25 years already. She must know something about this place. And then Amelia says she's going to visit her soon.
She actually did talk to Miss Brown. What Miss Brown tells Amelia, this family was living here in Amelia's house, and supposedly they were good friends with the family. The family was, like living here. It was your normal family. Miss Brown and her husband were they were friends with the family. Then I think later on something horrible happened to the family. Miss Brown was hearing, like, I think it was like really loud noises next to the house, and her husband I remember that her husband wanted to go check it out, but like Miss Brown was really scared. So she just instead like called the police, and when the police came, the family was just like they were just dead. Also, the youngest one, her name is Alice. She disappeared too, and the rest of the family were dead at the house. And yeah, that was it. It was weird. And Miss Brown also tells Amelia that like the family before like they die, they were acting really weird, but Miss Brown never knew the reason why. So it's like, what happened to them? Well, why they were acting weird? Who killed them? Like, what happened?
And I mean, that being said, it wouldn't be unusual that Amelia wouldn't know that something like that happened in her house because, I mean, really, and this is just information that everybody should really know. In most states, if a horrific murder occurs in a house and then someone sells you that house, they don't necessarily have to disclose that unless you ask. And who's going to think to ask, "Hey, was anybody ever tortured and murdered in my house?"
Yeah. Oh, what about like if when Amelia and her mom like moved to this place, like what if her mom knew or like, but she didn't tell Amelia? Because clearly Amelia didn't know anything at all. So it's just like, what the hell?
And I mean, that might be something that her mom may have known and just didn't disclose to Amelia because, that might freak out her kid. But like, if you're buying a house and it's like, okay, I'm a single woman and I have a kid to support and hey, they're going to knock off 50 grand off of this house because it was this horrible murder here. Okay, I'll do it.
Yes.
I can totally understand that happening.
Yeah. That would be horrible though. Like if my family does it to me, I'd be like, how could you?
I mean, it's horrible, but bad economy, bad times, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. So the last thing that Amelia posted for us is her telling us like, oh, like she made like some more research about this horrible like murder. What she actually found out was that, yeah, not only the police or anybody saw like the youngest Alice ever again, she was never found, but that also like the family, like they have like symbols on their skin, like it was made like by a knife or something. And that's like, okay, what the hell? That's so weird. The last thing that Amelia told us is that she was gonna show us the symbols soon, so we're waiting on that.
And yeah, that was I think 5 days ago when she posted that. And that to me, like, symbols and stuff screams like supernatural or some type of cult or Santeria or something like that. So it's ritualistic. But the biggest question now is, where is Alice? What happened to her? So that's pretty creepy. So I'm going to link down below, obviously, this Twitter account so everyone can get caught up on it and look at the videos and follow along with us. It's getting interesting. I mean, it's been interesting since the beginning, but the more details that are released surrounding the stuff that may have possibly occurred within the house, the creepier and scarier it is. So I really recommend that.
Yeah.
If you want to be creeped out, go and read it.
Yeah.
Noodles, do you have anything else to add to that?
Not really. I'm interested to see what the symbol looks like because she did say recently that she was going to show us the symbol soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm quite excited to see what that looks like because that'll help us figure out like if it's some kind of demonic symbol, maybe the possessed, or but then we're going into the whole theory crafting thing here. Yeah, it'll be interesting, sure.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too that I kind of like about the group that we have in the House of Spades is that, when an ARG or a story throws out something and like starts talking about, a particular religion or an artifact or something, the diverse group that we have, we figure out, okay, because like was one of our stories, for instance, threw out something about a particular holiday around Easter. And within like 10 minutes. We were like, oh, it must be da-da-da, and it's this religion, and this is what happens during that religion, and so it makes sense that, if once we see the actual symbol, we're going to be able to pull apart, okay, maybe this is what it is. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to say. If you come and join us, you can come and do some theory crafting. Ta-da!
Exactly.
Links in the
Yay!
description. Please come join the House of Faith. We're loads of fun.
Yes, we don't bite.
We don't bite.
Much.
All right, so the next order of business that we're going to be talking about is a news story that I found on Twitter and then shared it with a couple different people. And Noodles, she and I have been looking at it, and there's been a couple of people that are following it, and now we actually have it in the House of Spades so that other people can follow the tweets as they come along. And it is a little terrifying, to say the least, because I don't know if you guys know anything about me, but I am kind of obsessed with the idea of, like, not necessarily true crime, but like real life things that can happen. So, disease research and how plagues have occurred and the transmission of plagues and, just stuff that is generally terrifying. And one of the diseases in particular that I'm afraid of is Ebola. And it scares me. Because number one, it's a creepy creepy disease itself, and the transmission of it is horrifying, and it's way too easy to transmit, and it'll kill you just in a matter of a couple of days. And I think one of the reasons why I'm so scared of that is that I live in Georgia, not too far from Atlanta, where the CDC is, and so it kind of keeps me on edge when I start hearing about things related to disease. And so this Twitter account came about, and it's just a name. It's just called Samantha Cunningham, and I'm going to put the link down below. And the first tweet came in March the 2nd, and it says, "My name is Samantha Cunningham, and this is the story of my death and your life. You do not know me and will probably never hear about me, but I have to die so that you can live. I do this out of my love for you, and hopefully by the end of this, you will understand why I did it."
Like, this account is, it's very convincing in the fact that I actually am one of the people who thinks that it's real, because, like, oh god, the way, well, not so much real as, like, it's so based in reality that it is horrifying. Like, one of the posts that I came up with more recently, you were saying about the Ebola thing, was about, like, how Ebola is actually spread. And I remember messaging you after that, Betty, and being like, I need to wash my hands about 1 million more times a day now. Thank you, Samantha Cunningham.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, we need to wash all the things. The thing about it, the way you're talking about it being real and kind of based in reality, if you start researching the stuff that she's referring to, like the places and the institution that she's saying that she works at, the United States Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases. That's called USAMRIID, and it's at Fort Derrick, Maryland. That's an actual place, guys. Like, that's a real place. And she goes on to talk about, hey, we've got level 4, contaminants here in hot freezers, and she explains those, and she actually explains that she almost died in one of those freezers at one point. She got locked inside of one, and luckily one of her coworkers, a lab assistant, was able to get her out before she froze to death. But she also mentioned something in here about the anthrax attacks that happened, let me see, what year was it? I think it was like late 90s, early 2000s. And what had happened was that powdered anthrax, they were being sent to places like journalists, like a CNN or something like that, plus a couple different senators. And what had happened is that they ended up getting caught inside of a United States Postal Service distribution center. It turns out, like, in real life, this did happen. And the person that it was tracked to was someone who worked within the real USAMRIID, however you say it, facility. That was a real person, guys. That was really real. Like, that really happened. So that's what kind of makes it scary, because she's like, oh yeah, he was my coworker, and that happened. And so it's really creepy. It's like, is she talking about real life, or is this someone who's just making up a story? But the story goes on. She, first describes the facility. She describes, what type of things they do there, what they research. And if you actually look up this facility and look at what they do, they are the only research facility that they make weaponized, or they study weaponized, like, biohazards. Like, the Department of Justice, the United States Department of Justice, uses them to figure out, how you would weaponize something like anthrax, how you would weaponize something like Ebola. So that's scary. And she refers to, like, different studies that the United States has done on its citizens, which, if you look up all those studies, they really did happen. Like, at one point, they sprayed, like, all of San Francisco, I believe, with a fungus, and people got sick, and like 5 or 6 people died. Well, the United States military actually did do that. It was back in the 50s when it happened. And she talks about how, they studied the effects of mustard gas on, like 60,000 men in the military during World War II. And yeah, that really happened. So it's getting deeper and deeper into the, what is real and what is not real. And the way the person posts too, and we can only assume it's a female because the name is Samantha. The way she posts too, she posts in these large chunks. So like, there'll be like 15 tweets in one day, and then you won't hear from her in like 2 days. But the stuff that she posts is really thick, really intricate, like it's big pages that you would like find in a book. And so she's talking about Ebola, and she talks about the transmissions and how it's transmitted. And then she says something which is scary. She starts talking about Ebola, and then she point blankly says that every single Ebola outbreak that has ever happened in the world, the United States military and USAMRID were the ones who did it. Like, they infected people to see what would happen. And she starts talking about different places where it has happened. Look up those places. They're real. The numbers of people dead are real. So, there's that. It's creepy. It's scary, and it really gets under your skin and makes you want to go wash your hands after every time you read what she's posted.
I honestly, I had to say that when you read all this that, Samantha is posting, it's definitely creepy, because like you say, Betty, it can really happen, and some stuff has actually happened, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't, I need to like take a shower like 3 times a day, and wash everything, like clothes, clean the house like every day. It makes you think that, at least for me, and I can't with that.
Including, she makes a very valid point, which is what Noodles and I were talking about, where she's like, do you ever wash your hands before you go to the bathroom? And nobody does that. But then when you read why she poses that question, it's like, oh my God, I have to wash my hands in bleach before I go to the bathroom now.
Yes, exactly.
Public service
And it's
announcement,
just so
ladies, make sure that you wash your hands before you touch your coochies.
Exactly. But then she posts pictures too, which are a little scary. Like, the picture she's posting, like, her profile picture itself looks like someone wearing a face mask with a shield on it and, a covering. So all you see is like eyes. And then the image above it shows, I think it's 2 people in like the blue spacesuits that you remember seeing like in movies, carrying a body. And so you don't know what that's really about. And she posts a picture of proper hand washing techniques so that people would know this is how you should wash your hands. And then today, actually, she gave a update, and it was another band of tweets, like 10 tweets or so, and she showed 2 images, one of which are some gloves and boots. And if you read the actual story itself, it'll explain what those are about. And then a picture of, looks like some women in a tent. And then there's something kind of tragic about that picture in itself. If you read it, she'll explain what it is. But the question now has to be, when she started off the account, she says, this is the story of my death in your life. Well, she's clearly alive because she's posting all of this. So what is she leading up to? where are we going from here? And what it says in her description, or her bio rather, is my goal while I have time left is to alert the regular civilian that the United States government is lying to you. Which, I mean, if you live in the United States, we know. We know they do.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are our two stories that we're going to cover today. And if anybody ever has any kind of recommendations of things they want us to check out, if they have a story they want us to start following or to do a video on, just send any of us a message. You can do that either via comment on the YouTube video, or you join the House of Spades and send us a short message of hey, I think you should check this out.
I just want to say we also have a channel in the server called ARGs to watch. So if you don't feel like being social or talking to someone and you're like, hey, this is cool, people should see it, you can drop it in there and people check it out.
That's how this one we started following, is that Noodles had posted the link to it in there, and then after a couple of us started looking at it, we decided to go ahead and put it in a room so that we could follow the Samantha Cunningham story. And the same thing goes for the one we discussed in our last video. It was just something that was stumbled upon pretty much, and we started following it. So as always, we're going to put an invite to the Discord down in the links below, and links to both of these stories. And if anyone ever wants to contact us and ask us to follow something, or just want to give their input on stories, let us know, because we're always looking for new opinions and new avenues. Unless either one of you ladies have anything else you want to add before we sign off, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up.
If you think you're haunted, move house. If you're dealing with germs and Ebola, wash your hands. There you go.
Yes, please.
That is solid advice. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and cut it off here, and thank you for listening, and as always, don't get shuffled.